should you be offering move-in discounts?
I'm Jim Ross. He's Matt VanHorn. And this is 3 Mile Domination, where we talk about anything and everything regarding the world of self-storage.
Hi everyone, this is Jim Ross and Matt VanHorn. This is episode number 12 of the 3 Mile Domination show. What's up, Matt?
Hey, how you doing?
Good. Let's jump into this one here. We get this a lot. Doesn't matter if it's a brand new site that's been around for a long time, or it's really competitive or not competitive. And that comes down to the question of, well, should I be offering discounts? And wanted to go into that. And I think we specifically talk about, move-in specials. Probably when's a good time to offer the move-in specials? Are you looking at competition and matching them? Are you being more aggressive? Lots of different ways to look at this, and want to kind of get our perspectives on things.
I think it depends on where you are with your property. And what I mean by that, not where you're located, I mean where you are in sense of your occupancy goals, your revenue goals, the time frame. If you have a new property on the, are you trying, the time frame on the refinance, where are you on this property that you need to start considering this? Now, I'm not a fan of having no discounts. I mean, in a sense that, I don't want my managers giving them out, but if we have to resort to one, then do it. I've heard, for example, when public storage comes into an area, I've heard this at a number of conferences where they talk about, the dollar move-in special. We all hate that special, but the idea is to fill up. And if, you can either match it and fight with them on it, or you cannot do it, work on getting some of the people you can pay at a higher rate, but just realize that you're going to be stuck with that in your market until they fill up.
Correct.
So I think it really, it's very market dependent. I'm not telling you to have a special. I think you should have some in your back pocket, but I'm not telling you should use them. What you should be doing is training your managers how to sell, and then using a special at as a last resort.
Well, exactly, and it's knowing your competition. I think first and foremost. I mean, that should just be part of a weekly.
Your comp study. Yeah.
A comp study, exactly. Of shopping your competition and seeing exactly what they're offering customers at that standpoint. I think right now we're kind of sitting pretty. So many places are running like crazy and full that I've seen some of the discounts starting to trickle down and be done away with when it comes to move-ins, which is nice. But like you said, when you get a new competitor that comes in town, they're brand new and looking to rent up, it's very commonplace that they'll do an aggressive discount and move-in special. And you have to weigh those if you want to, what your occupancy is, if you're willing to keep using that special. This is a means of keeping up with them. If your customer's calling multiple locations, you still want to be able to stay on top of mind and be in the running for that rental. And it comes down to a site-by-site basis, and making sure that manager is aware of, well, these are your options. And if you can rent that unit without giving a move-in special, great, everyone wins. But you have to be able to give them that option of having that in their, like you said, in their back pocket. So if need be, when they know they're not going to be able to get that and finalize that rental, to be able to offer that incentive move-in special, to be able to remain competitive and get that rental. So
I think, like I said, I think what it boils down to is that the use of specials, you have them, but how often they're used comes to training. I mean, it really does, because I think that a lot of times, and Jim and I were managers, we know how this works. A lot of you, if your manager's listening to this, I would say probably a lot of you are bonused on a kind of a per unit rental unit basis, where if you rent 5 units, you get $50 or something, $10 a unit or $5 a unit, whatever it is. So I think we actually have to look at how we compensate people as well. I mean, if you're running a type of thing where you're giving a commission basically to a manager for every unit they rent, well, they're going to rent that unit. Now, and I don't think that's necessarily a bad strategy unless you have someone that leads with that to try to rent every unit they have without trying to do it. I mean, your best managers, what they're going to do is they're going to go through a sales process, and instead of offering a discount, they're going to try to upsell the unit with no discount, and an admin fee, and here, buy a lock 2 and some boxes. I mean, that's the best route that it's going to go.
Yep.
So that's what you want to encourage. And we can talk about bonuses, commissions, things like that in a different podcast. But that's really what you want to incentivize. And I just think that you have it. You don't have to give it on every size code either. Just because you say 1 month free on something, you can limit that to, I've got 100 5x5s, which some of you out there unfortunately do, and you're going to try to get rid of those, and then you can but you can put on there, first month free, and then it's like what Extra Space does, it says on specific units or
exactly.
Selected units, right? So you can do it that way, and then online you probably want to have at least something out there. Because online shoppers tend to be more price sensitive than people who are walking off the street. I mean, if you're walking off the street, I'm not offering you a special until until you bring it up and drag me kicking and screaming towards the the green water of dollars that I have to give it to you.
Yep.
But because I'm starting, if you're walking off the street, I'm starting at above street rate until you tell me otherwise. And that's where having a comp study is important. That doesn't mean you have to copy your comps. I mean, if you have somebody giving and I saw this during the real estate crisis down here in Florida, where one guy built a property, he did 12 months half off.
12 months?
Oh, yeah, 12 months half off. That's how bad it got down here.
Wow.
And I'm sitting there, running the numbers. It's like, wow, can you really run your property on 50% occupancy? I mean, I don't know who can.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So you start looking at that. That's how desperate it got. That's just stupidity. That's not a tactic. That's or a strategy. That's just dumb.
Yep.
And it affects everybody else because, and this is one of the other things I have problems with when it comes to, like, say, mom and pop owners. When you guys open up properties, the first thing you want to do is start discounting. The first problem you have, you want to start going to discounting and lowering your prices. And it really just comes down to selling better.
I was going to say, and that perfectly dovetails into our next series of videos that we'll be putting out there, and that is, the sales process over the phone and person. That's all about building value into your site, so you don't have to discount. But again, we all know this is storage, and that is part of the storage business is the discounts. And again, I think it's knowing your competition, sitting down and actually having a strategy of what you will be using any kind of discounts on, what they will be. And I think what we just mentioned briefly in this, when that's a great strategy, is definitely for the online shoppers. Put your special up there. That's fine. But again, it's on select units. But at least you're getting that call. You're getting that customer on the phone, engaged with you. And that way you can start setting yourself apart from everybody else. And you have to see if they have to get that discount or not. If it's on a certain size code that you have a ton of vacancies in, okay, I get it. But it's not just going to be a blanket special for every single unit, because that's, again, you're just giving money away at that point.
I mean, think about discounts as buying occupancy, basically. How much are you willing to spend to fill up your property?
Exactly.
But this can also dovetail back it dovetails right back into revenue management. Fine, you give a special. Let's say you do 5% or something like that. Well, my rent increase is going to be 6%, or I'm going to try to claw that money back. But the best thing is if I don't have to, then I won't, because I'll sell it for a bigger price. But and like I said, the other thing is, just because you're the highest in the market, and we'll get into pricing strategies as well. We'll talk more about that as well. But just because you're the highest in the market doesn't mean there's anything wrong with that. Just because you're able to sell at a higher rate, you don't have to give out as many discounts. Nothing wrong with that. That just means you're doing it better. But if you just a property opened up next door and it's development. They're on the clock to fill it up because they got to refinance out of that construction loan. So they're going to be throwing everything. And that's what happened in Florida when I told you about the guy that did 12 months half off.
Yep.
So, I mean, that's what happens. So you're just going to have to learn to deal with that kind of stuff. And if you can match some of it, if that's what you want to do. You don't want to lose occupancy too much. You want to gain, but you also don't want to give it away if you don't have to. So, I mean, the biggest problem you have with specials is just when people don't sell correctly and they feel like they have to lean on that. Anytime you have to lean on pricing or lean on specials, then there's other things you should be doing first.
Yeah, it's a crutch.
That's a last resort.
Yeah, it's exactly. It kind of becomes a crutch, and it's a lack of sales training is really what it comes down to.
Right.
And I'm excited to be able to start getting into some of those strategies, and we're gonna delve deep into having great managers at your property that are trained correctly, great sales techniques, and that will definitely help offset, having these specials. And it's gonna be fun. Those are our next series that's coming up. So
yeah, absolutely.
I think that's a good way to end on this one. So let's wrap it up.
Sounds good. You have a great week.
All right. Take care.
Bye.
Go to 3miledomination.com/call to schedule your free 30-minute marketing tune-up call. I'll give you solid advice you can easily implement with or without us. Until next time.